Hello viewers. Today I'll be ranking my own recipes, my fruit flavored Mockley recipes that I've published before on this channel. I'll be ranking them today in tier list format, which are the exceptional recipes and which are the average recipes and which are recipes that were disasters. So this is my setup today. I'll be ranking my fruit flavored Mockley recipes. So here we go. So what I've done here is taken the thumbnail of my video and brought them all here, and then I will rank them from S, which will be the exceptional recipes, the ones that I think are the absolute best, and that rank A will be for very good recipes, the ones that I like the flavor of, that I want to show off to other people. B will still be positive recipes, Mockley brews that I enjoy, and C will just be the average ones, this completely ordinary, nothing special about them, and I'll save D for the disasters. So let's start ranking now. First thumbnail I have here is for the Berry Fest, for blueberry and strawberry Mockley recipes. Okay, so this is actually two separate brews. I've reviewed all these videos recently, so yeah, these were good. These were good. I'm gonna rank them in the B category. They were good. This was this is my recipe, the kind of recipe where I cook I bring the berries up to a certain temperature and cool them down. So I'm basically cooking them a bit before I use them for brewing. So I thought that was an important thing to do, but for this one especially, I got pretty good flavor out of the strawberry one. Okay, so next one I want to make sure I talk about, is Holly's recipe for Holly's recipe for raspberry Mockley. And this was an exceptional one. This is really, has some of the best flavor I've ever gotten from a Mockley. This recipe used raw raspberries, no cooking at all, and that's Holly's recipe, and it got much better results, a very, very intense flavor, and also I did not use any added wine yeast, just used the natural yeast that's in the Nuruc and any wild yeast. So that was a wild fermentation with raw raspberries for a relatively short amount of time, but it produced such an intense flavor. Very, very notable. That one is at the top. So that's okay. So that's pretty easy to compare those. Next thumbnail I have here is for cherry Mockley. That was very tasty too. So this was my recipe. Again, I had cooked the cherries, applied heat to them. So this was very good. I had made this before I made Holly's raspberry Mockley, and up until that point, I thought this was the best one. So I'm going to rank this as A. Okay, let's see what's here. Okay, a plum Mockley. Wait, do I have two plum ones here? Oh yeah. Okay, so there's two plum ones. This one, it was tasty, but there was too much pectin in it. So it becomes more like a jam, and it becomes difficult to strain. So the taste was good. I think I'm going to rank that as I got a pretty good output from it too. I'm going to rank that as a B. But then the next plum one, I had tried to correct that problem by adding pectinase. So maybe that would break down the jam. Again, I'm cooking it here. So I guess what I'm learning here is that even though I cooked it, and I tried to correct the, even though I tried to correct the jammy, sticky nature of the plums, it didn't work. It was even more difficult to strain. So I'm going to rate this one a C. Okay, next, have the sour plum, Swemme. Okay, sour plum, nice. Sour plum was that's an excellent flavor. I think it was important to cook it here. It's a dried ingredient, so it was important to make a really intense flavored liquid from the dried Swemme. And that's a really intense flavor. That was successful. I wanted to share that with other people. So I'm gonna rate that as A. What do we have next here? Okay, next I have dates. Okay, so dates are interesting. At the time I had a lot of different kinds of dates, and I wanted to use them. I did some experiments here. Didn't really produce a date flavored brew. It was pretty hard to work with. Don't think it produced a successful flavor in the end. So I'm going to rate this as a C. Okay, next one I have. I added some pear to these two. So, and it's also an experiment of wild yeast versus wine yeast, adding yeast or not. So the pear flavor, I did add some pear. That has sugars. It didn't really produce a pear flavor in the output. It was still pretty interesting. That's probably an average brew in my list here. I want to note this this persimmon one in particular. Okay, persimmons are, really beloved fruit. Has a very interesting texture. And I like the texture eating them, dried persimmons, or there's a lot of different kinds of dried persimmons, dried to different degrees, and they they have a good taste, a nice texture. Trying to brew with them produced. There must be even more pectin in persimmons. It was so difficult to filter in the end. The taste was okay. This was basically a disaster in terms of getting the brew done. It was so difficult to filter. So that is at the bottom. I'll put that in the D category. The last one I have to categorize here is Holly's recipe for peach Mockley. Okay, so we brewed this together without additional yeast, and this was one that right, again, it's Holly's recipe, so it was with raw peaches. No cooking at all. Yeah, that was an A-level brew. Not quite as good as the raspberry Mockley, but the peach Mockley is still very tasty. Okay, what does this make me realize? My earlier attempts at brewing with fruit, I always cooked them. That's not always the right thing to do. You can get better flavors with raw fruit. but the reason I was cooking it was to avoid problems with introducing molds or unwanted bacteria into the brew, which is a concern. So I think it is important to use fresh fruit for this, that you freeze and you use it in a fresh state, so it's not doesn't have, there's no chance for it to have much mold on it, for example, and also it's not brewed for a long time. So the point of using the fresh fruit instead of cooking the fruit, which activates the pectin. So by not cooking it, you don't activate the pectin, you get the fresh flavors, and you should, I think you should do a quick brew for that reason. And the results I found to be really good. So that's what I've learned about brewing with fruit over the years. And the other thing, the other pattern I see here is that actually the fruit category out of all my brews, it's a very strong category. These are on the whole, successful brews. They're very tasty. I do recommend experimenting with whatever fruit you have available to you. Experiment with it, brew with it. There's a lot of other possibilities, and you'll end up with some tasty Mockley. So I hope you found this new kind of format that I did today interesting. I do want to do tier list rankings of some other categories of recipes that I've done on this channel. So let me know what you think of this one, and thank you for watching.